how to write effectively, confidently, and with enthusiasm. Hi everyone, welcome once again to my video on how to write effectively, confidently, and with enthusiasm. My goal is to help you write with a sense of joy and at the same time guide you to practice so that you develop the skills to be a superb writer. I will share with you some of my tried and tested tips that you can apply in your writing projects. One of the many issues that writers tend to face is how to structure a book or any kind of content. It is important to have the clarity because what happens when we write without a clear idea, we tend to ramble. We tend to lose track of what it is that we want to talk about, and we have disconnected topics. This doesn't work effectively, especially if you want to be published. So you need to be absolutely crystal clear in your mind what your story is about. So how to structure? There are many models you can use to structure your book. The most common one is the 3-act structure. There are others like the 7-point story structure. Many writers have their own style. Some say begin with the end in mind. You could do that, develop the grand finale of your story, and then write the beginning and the body. Usually, if you are going to write with the end in mind, it is for a storyline that has a puzzle or a whodunit or a suspense mystery. Then you can construct your structure like that. But personally, I prefer to have a clear beginning and a direction with some ups and downs. The end I worry about later. As the story evolves, there will be twists and turns. So just think about how you want to structure your story and just try and keep it to a very simple flow. So here's my 3 tips for you to structure your work. The first one, and the first and foremost, is to write a very simple outline of the story. It's like what happened now, then what happened next, and next, and next. So just a simple structure, a framework. Just like you build a house, you would first design a framework, you would first understand who's going to live in the house. Accordingly, you develop this layout and the number of rooms, etc. So first of all, the framework. Similarly, when you do in writing, you'll have the outline, the framework, what your story is going to be about, who are the characters who live in it. Start with that. If you're stuck working in a framework, then what you need to do is ask the question, what next, and what next, and what am I going to what is the point of my story structure, what is happening next, just to keep the story moving forward. Because sometimes we get stuck in one scene. You have to make sure that your story is moving forward from one point to another point, and the characters are also evolving. So keep asking yourself questions. So what's going to happen next? And then you also will discover the genre, the subgenre of your story. For example, it's not just a love story. It could be a paranormal love story. It's not just a thriller. It could be a psychological thriller. So your framework will unfold and give you more clarity on what your story is about. Point number 2. The second part of a structure is the characters. Characters drive the story forward. So make sure your main characters have definition, have personalities. Are they strong? Are they weak? What is it they're doing in their lives? Who are they? Describe them in detail. So what you need to understand is characters will create a more wonderful story if you are unfolding with specific scenes. The characters create the drama, they create the conflict, they create a story to make it go forward. So for example, ask the character what is their personal struggle, what is the conflict, what are the issues they're facing. When I was writing my book Unresolved, I wrote about a woman trapped in her house, monitored by different people, and she didn't know how to escape. So what I ask the character, what are you going to do now? How are you going to escape? Come up with some ingenious ideas. So as you develop your characters, their story, their surrounding story will also develop along with it, and therefore it expands into a bigger story. So the power to impact, to touch a reader's heart is through the relatable characters. So that's very important. Point number 3, the ending. Some stories require a quick climax, others need more time to tie up loose ends. This is where the characters need to have a strong ending. They themselves will create an atmosphere, whether it is good versus evil. There'll be a finale, there'll be a good solid ending. The ending should have some kind of redemption, some kind of moral to the story, some kind of point you want to put across, whether it's good versus evil. So a lot depends on your genre, on the pacing, your style, who the characters are all about. So while there are many different models of story structure, they all contain these main elements. For me, very important is the framework, and this helps me to refer back. So while I'm writing my book, for example, then I can refer back to the framework and sort of see where I can fit in some other twists and turns, whether I can fit in another character, whether I can understand how the climax can be made more powerful. So all these parts and bits and pieces can only start if you have a clear framework. I will leave you with some questions to ask yourself before you write your outline. First, what is the most important point of your story? And second, why will your reader care? So if you like this video, do subscribe and do like. Thank you.